Hi everyone, it's Az here from HeelvsBabyface. Now I'm still not fully fit and I wasn't actually planning on making a video today, but after having this article sent to me, I had to. I had to because it's just full of such buffoonery. I think we need to have a chit chat about it. But I'm hopefully getting better. I'm on the road to recovery. I haven't fallen down a classic WoW pit and not come out. No, I've been poorly sick the last couple of weeks, and in actual fact I haven't touched WoW in that time because I want to do all of that classic WoW stuff with you guys. And so when I do return back to it, you'll be very familiar with where I am because it's simply where I left off. I've been doing other things to try and just keep me occupied in that time. Playing Destiny 2, actually. Rather enjoying it, to be honest with you. But as many of you will know, I'm a big comic fan, big DC fan. Well, until recently. We'll get into that later on. And I've been collecting comics since 1992, I believe. Maybe 93. One of those. And they've all been the Bat family. Batman, Detective Comics, Catwoman, Robin, Nightwing, Batgirl, Batwoman. Throughout the course of time, some series I picked up, some series I haven't picked up. Some miniseries I have, some I haven't, etc., etc. And when it was announced that Todd Phillips was going to make a Joker film, I had no interest whatsoever. And the reason why I had no interest is because, to me, the Joker as a villain works because we don't know anything about him. Even in The Killing Joke, where it does go through a potential origin story of the Joker, even in that book itself, the Joker himself states, sometimes I remember things differently. So we can't even take what he says in The Killing Joke as gospel. And there's a lot more stuff which kind of surrounds The Killing Joke, which I'm not going to get into in this film anyway. Video anyway. Film. Ooh, grandiose. And when I think you do start to delve too intricately into origin stories, then they can turn out to be laughably stupid. Like Solo, for example, which is one of the worst films I think I've ever seen. I thought it was just garbage. I didn't know what I was watching, but it wasn't Star Wars, and I didn't find it exciting, and I thought the characters were awful. But one of the worst parts of that film for me, and I was watching it here, and I almost got up and left my own house, was when Han was trying to get book passage or whatever. He's like, what's your surname? I don't have a surname. I've been on my own all my life. I'm Han. So it's like, oh, in that case, I'll call you Han Solo. Because you... And I was just like, off. The idiot writing was, it's just like, I'm done. I've checked out. I'm done. This is garbage. And so I was always worried about when you broke the Joker down. If you tried to do that, what sort of story would we get? Ugh. But then the first trailer came out. And suddenly the film that I had no interest in seeing whatsoever, I was like, oh my goodness, this looks so interesting, so intriguing. I need to see this film. And then when the second trailer dropped, that was it. That was it. The film I had no interest in seeing, I had to see immediately when it comes out. Straight away. It looked that interesting. It looked that cool. And so, it brings us to articles like this. As previews have already gone out and people have already seen the film. Sorry, Belle's at my feet. She knows I'm poorly sick, so she's been mothering me for a while. People have seen the film and scores have been very high indeed. And then from the crazy sector of the press, and when I say the crazy sector of the press, we know all the ones that we're talking about, your Vices and your whatnots. Oh my God, this film is like problematic and stuff and things. It's like, oh my God, it's like white people are like bad and stuff. Like bully men in the head. And I'll go through this article from Vice, and I'll link it in the description down below. And it's just one of the most ridiculous things I think I've read. And Noel, I think he's got a bit of a problem against white people for a start, but never mind. But Noel just is so subscribed to a singular viewpoint, which is white man bad, that he is disingenuous and dishonest in this article to a negligent degree. That he just very coincidentally and conveniently bypasses a lot of the potential issues that this film could be discussing. So let's just get into a couple of things. He runs with the title of Joker is a terrifyingly realistic window into white Christmas. Just like the ones I used to know. We need to reckon with how closely Todd Phillips' villain mirrors real-life mass and the poisonous ideologies they subscribe to. Right. Well, first and foremost, excuse my terrible cold, I'm really sorry. Even if that is what the film wanted to discuss, so what? Do you not discuss these things? Do you not put them out there in the public sphere for people to talk, to debate? No. Well, according to this guy, no. We need to. It's problematic. You know those words they like to use. And I don't know how many times he uses white in this article, but I'd probably be a very rich man if I got $10 for every time he did. Yes, Phoenix's Joker in the latest film by Todd Phillips is a villain we've seen before. This is very... Look at the way he just, by the way, skirts over this. Is a villain. Villain. This film isn't about a hero. This isn't a hero's journey. This is a villain's journey. This isn't the rise to hero status. This is the descent into madness. But we will just skirt over that real quick. And then blanket statement, white guys, at every given opportunity. Not the nihilist clown to an archetypical Batman, but as the angry white man obsessed with validation. Well, I know that I haven't seen the film. Okay. But one of the interesting things about the two trailers is it clearly doesn't matter the colour of Arthur, the main protagonist. The only reason he's white is the Joker is white by law, L-O-R-E. And so that's why they've run with this. The trailers seem to show somebody who is clearly mentally having issues and how they feel like society that they're operating in is letting them down. And instead of them finding some sort of cathartic release through laughter, through becoming a stand-up comic, it's actually getting them down and down and down because they're no good, they're getting ridiculed, the public embarrassment on television. We see the element of engagement with Thomas Wayne. So the colour of the protagonist really here doesn't appear to matter. It's about society, and it's about how this person is being moulded and letting his circumstances, his issues, his problem mould him. And when he screams, white man obsessed with validation, I don't think I've seen a portion of society in this day and age more desperate for validation than trash magazines like Vice and Kotaku and Polygon and all those rags out there desperate for validation. How we see characters, heroes being developed for the screen on the CW who are desperate for validation with your Batwomans, etc. But no, white man obsessed with validation. So we get into the scariest element of the film. And I'm going to, like I said, I'm going to link this article in the description down below because I really want you to go through it in its entirety to get full context, because obviously I'm going to be paraphrasing issues. But this paragraph here is beyond laughable. The critics aren't wrong in telling us exactly who this Joker is. He is not the abstract comic book villain of the pre-2000s. He's more familiar and more human than ever, which makes him all the more disturbing. That, to me, says that this film has its finger on the current day pulse and makes the film even more interesting because it's going to deal with stuff which we can empathise and relate to in modern society. And it's society that is the word which will come up again and again with me, not white. It's society, because that is what I feel is what's being put on display here. Not colour, not gender, not race. Society. And if I scroll up a little bit, we get here. He could easily be adopted as the patron saint of incels. Others argue that his willingness to answer emotional misgivings with public violence aligns himself with certain things that we see now. Well, that's again very interesting that he chooses not to mention, of course, Antifa and stuff like that. The self-professed social justice warriors who have been responsible for many attacks, many violent acts. Doesn't bring those into the equation. No. It just sticks with his incel, 4channy, loner type of persona. And the thing about channels like this, right, sites like this, is they run rings, right? Run rings around buffoons like this guy here. Run rings around them. Because they'll create something, for argument's sake, a frog, and they'll put it out there, and they'll let these crazy-ass, self-absorbed, bubble people create their own definition of it, and then before you know it, a frog has become a symbol for white supremacy. Who are the crazy people here? Who are the crazy people here? This guy in the film, or these people who are talking about it and trying to twist things for their own agenda? And I think one of the most disturbing things, and the best things that this film looks like it's going to do, is make us empathise with the main character. And the reason why I think it's scary is because, again, this is a villain's story, not a hero's, a villain's. So when you can empathise with certain elements of what's going on in this person's life and their descent, but obviously it's leading into a very dark, bad place, then we look at ourselves and think, oh wow. What did I empathise with? What struck a nerve with me? And that can provoke, again, some very interesting thought. Now, he goes on about, Taxi Driver and stuff like that. So it's amazing that they haven't all jumped over Taxi Driver now, but, that's just by the by. This new Joker has more than one enemy. His growing obsession with taking revenge on a world that's unfair is the stuff of mass pew-pews and incel message boards culture. What? Wow, that is such a blanket statement. That is such a blanket statement. How rich is that coming from Vice? Unreal. Absolutely unreal. And then let's just end it here. North America's obsession with tucking away ugliness was as much a problem back then as it is now. So what is the problem with the film showing potential aspects of society? None. In actual fact, this film looks like it's more thought-provoking than anything. but it bad because, according to you, white man bad. That's all this article is. It's unmitigated trash. Look at the tags. Can we just look at the tags? Look at the negativity here. Villain, toxic masculinity, mass pew-pewers, incel. Excuse me. This article is unmitigated garbage. Unmitigated garbage. This has got nothing to do with colour. This has got nothing to do with colour whatsoever. Just because certain things can align or look familiar doesn't mean it's the case. You can't just blanket the mass shootings on white people because there's too much to go into. You've got to look at their family. You've got to look at their societal aspects. You've got to look at gun control. But you dismiss all that. You don't go into any of that whatsoever. You just go into white man bad. I don't know how these people... I mean, I do know how these people get hired because the whole system is full of these crazies. But the reflection, the richness of it, the irony of this article. Who the clowns? I see a clown right there. I see a bunch of clowns right there. So there you go. I know I've gone on for a bit, but let me know what you think in the comment section down below. Hope you enjoyed the vid. If you did, do give it a thumbs up and also subscribe to the channel. Follow me on social media and Twitch for live streaming. Links are in the description box down below. And I'll be back, hopefully, with some more stuff very soon. You take care. Bye for now.